anything else I might have missed? All right. Well, our speaker today, and let's get right into it. It's Stephen Rogers. I know we said Kristina Stambaugh would be here. Those of you who know Kristy, she just couldn't make it. This is a different Kristy. And it was kind of last minute, but Stephen stepped right up to the plate, and he is going to tell us all about the new, to-be-built senior center, which has got therapeutic recreation capabilities, and so it will be available for disabled people as well as seniors. You do not have to be a senior for this to appreciate this new facilities. He's going to tell us about that. It's not here yet, but he's going to tell us about that and anything else he wants to share from his role as the, get this right, Aging Services Program Manager at the Senior Center. All right, here's Stephen.
Let me turn this on. Let me just turn it on. I'll turn this one off and turn this one on.
Sorry, I talk with my hands a lot, so if I have a microphone, I'm going to be gesturing with the microphone probably, and you wouldn't hear me. It's better to have one stationary.
Testing, testing. Yeah, you have to get kind of close to it.
Okay. Yeah, I'll adjust.
All right.
Let me adjust this. I'll stop touching it. Can you hear me okay? I'm pretty loud too, so hopefully.
Would you like some water, or you still got water?
Yeah, I've got water. I'm fine. Thank you though. I'll try to hold off messing with it so I don't make any additional sounds. Well, thank you for having me today. As Susan said, my name is Stephen Rogers. I'm not running for vice president. You don't have to vote for me.
You're the only one.
So I'll tell you a little bit about myself, what I do with the Lexington Senior Center, some of our services, and then we'll get into our new center that is under development right now. So I've been with the Lexington Fayette Urban County government for a little over 11 years. I was the manager at McConnell Springs with the Division of Parks and Rec. So if you've ever been out to McConnell Springs before in the last 10 years or so, that was my stomping grounds for a long time. I moved to the Division of Aging and Disability Services last year in April as the Aging Services Program Manager. My primary responsibility now is to oversee the different programs that we have at the Lexington Senior Center. So our fitness programming, our arts and music programming, as well as some other recreational activities and education classes. And I also oversee operations at our 3 satellite centers. So we currently have 4 locations that we manage, with a 5th coming online soon. So if you're not familiar, the Lexington Senior Center and our satellite centers are open to Fayette County residents age 60 and older and their spouses. So our 4 centers right now, we have the Lexington Senior Center that's right behind Southwood Christian Church off of Life Lane. We have senior programs at the Bell House. We have the Elder Crafters program at the Black and Williams Center off Georgetown Street. And we have senior programs at the Charles Young Center. So those 3 satellite programs kind of operate a little bit independently from what we do at Life Lane at the main senior center. They are all kind of unique. They have been, 2 of those programs have been operating in those locations for decades. The Bell House program is one of the oldest senior programs in the state of Kentucky, and the Elder Crafters program has been operating out of the Black and Williams Center for decades. It used to be part of a program called a national program that was called the Elder Statesmen Crafters, and so they branched off into a Lexington section, and then we ended up managing that program. So with our services through Aging and Disability, we provide support to individuals in the community that are seniors, as I defined, 60 or older. And then some of our programs currently include supporting citizens of various disabilities or ability levels. We work with, sorry, got my notes all backwards. We work with a couple of commissions that support our mission, one of those being Access Lexington. So the Access Lexington Commission works to promote the inclusion of individuals with disabilities within our community, and they advise the mayor and the Urban County Council on issues that impact that specific population. Some of the issues that they focus on are paratransit issues, so working with Wheels and other groups like that. We've supported, that group has supported training programs to kind of introduce people how to use the public transportation system. We had one a couple of months ago where people got on different Lextram buses at Life Lane at the Lexington Senior Center. They learned how to use the bus. If they weren't familiar, they went out to our different satellite programs, and then they rode the buses back. So we do that at least once a year. We've held programs with Wheels to try to give feedback sessions for that program. So Access Lexington's heavily involved with that work. They also do education and promote businesses that hire individuals with disabilities and try to connect individuals with those businesses. They meet the third Wednesday of every month virtually or in person at the Lexington Senior Center. If you are interested in attending, their next meeting will be in person only on July 16th at Life Lane. The link for the Zoom meeting is on our website, lexingtonky.gov. There's a page for Access Lexington there. The other commission that our division supports is the Senior Services Commission, and it works to improve services and enhance the quality of life for older residents within Lexington and Fayette County and strengthen their ability to continue as full participants in the community. A lot of our programming is focused on seniors, so if you're 60 or older, a lot of this would go in line with services that you may be interested in. Getting into our individual centers that we currently manage, the Lexington Senior Center at Life Lane, on average daily, we have 300 individuals that come into the center. So this is kind of a public recreation center, more or less community center for seniors, if you haven't been there before. It's open, it's free. The only thing that we ever charge for is we have a series of art classes and music classes, and we do charge a $10 materials fee is what we call for that. And other than that, our services are free. So some of those services will include fitness opportunities, socialization activities, community lunch program. That's operated by a separate group. They use our multi-purpose room for the community lunch program daily. They ask for a $3 donation if you can, but that's not a requirement to make the donation, but they do ask for that if possible. The only kicker with that is you just have to let them know a day ahead of time. So you have to let them know on Monday if you're coming on Tuesday for lunch. And the lunches are served at 11 a.m. daily at the Senior Center. They also provide mobile lunches to a few locations and individuals. We have support groups, education classes, volunteer opportunities, and more. Each week, we offer over 50 group fitness classes, and that covers a pretty wide range from seated to standing classes, and really it kind of covers just about any ability level, no matter what your physical ability may be. So it could be a dancing class, it could be yoga, flexibility, stretching. A lot of the focus that our staff works on is on fall prevention, core strength, balance improvement, things that seniors have more on their mind. We also have classes for strength building and just overall health and improvement. We have over 20 art, music, and recreation classes per week at the Senior Center. We have the 3 satellite programs that I mentioned, the Bell House, Elder Crafters, and the senior programs at Charles Young. There are arts programs at each of those locations and fitness programs at each of those locations. So we've got a wide range of opportunities in a large coverage of areas across town. Included with the aging and disability services, we do have social workers on staff. The social workers are there to support nutritional needs. So if you need getting access to food stamp, SNAP program, they can help with that. Housing needs, we do manage a rental assistance program that the city funds. So they fund about, I think this year's budget was $50,000 that can go towards rental assistance. And that's, you know, once a year a senior can apply for that rental assistance, and they can get 1 month paid for if they're approved. And that program is managed by our social worker staff. We also support other resources such as technology needs, assistance signing up for Medicare, even down to things like if you need help applying for a job, getting your email to work, the social worker staff is there to support really anything that you have questions about that you may need assistance with. It's a really great team. I get to support one of them, supervise one of the staff there. They do great work for our seniors every day. But we do have that new facility coming online soon, which is currently it's being called the Senior and Therapeutic Recreation Center. I don't know if the name's going to change, but that's the name that we've been calling it, and that all the diagrams refer to it as. So the Senior and TR Center, Therapeutic Recreation Center, will be a 26,000 square foot facility. It will be located in Shillito Park. So as soon as you drive in Shillito Park, it's right behind the mall, just past the fire station inside of Shillito Park. So they've already begun working on the site. They've cleared the land. They've started pouring foundations. They've started adding the utility lines and access to utilities to the site. It will host daily programs for seniors and therapeutic recreation program. If you're not familiar, I'll give you a short overview of the TR program. It is operated by Parks and Recreation within the Lexington Fayette Urban County government, so it's not part of the division where I work, it's part of the division where I used to work. It's a great group of people that support that program. And TR is designed to support anybody in the community, regardless of their age, with disabilities. So it services children all the way up to adults and seniors. They support seniors in their programs. So they provide year-round access to programming for children and adults, and those programs are recreational based. They've been adapted to individuals at different ability levels. We have the person that runs that program is a certified therapeutic recreation specialist, and the staff underneath are trained to work with individuals of different ability levels. They run summer camps during the summer. Right now they're full blown into running summer camps for kids, and they also do day trip programs for adults during the summer. So that program is one of the oldest programs in the state that supports individuals with disabilities to provide recreational programming access. They've been operating, it's one of the oldest municipal run programs like that in the state of Kentucky. They've been around since the 60s supporting that population, and they've never had a permanent home. So they've always worked out of existing facilities across Parks and Recreation. They do a lot of programming out of the Dunbar Community Center. I've worked with them across the board at places, at campgrounds, at different parks doing programming. So really they've developed a great skill set of providing programs and access to that population wherever they can, as long as it's safe and accessible for their people to get in. But now with the Senior and Therapeutic Recreation Center that's being built, they'll actually have, for the first time since the 1960s, a permanent home for that program and space for that program to really grow and develop and thrive. So inside of the Senior and Therapeutic Recreation Center that we are currently building, we will have one group fitness studio. So for seated programs, to give you an idea of size, for seated programs, it'll be able to seat around 40 people for one class. And that's not people seated right on top of each other. The room will probably be considerably larger than the existing one that we currently have, and we seat 40 now, and it'll even be larger than that to give us more space. So the building is being designed for accessibility and mobility in mind. So of course it'll be ADA compliant and universally designed, but we're trying to design the spaces for anticipating that a lot of people that will use that location may have a mobility device with them or needs for additional space. So the rooms will be a little bit larger than what we currently have. We'll have the one group fitness studio that's dedicated solely to group fitness, so that could be seated and standing programs, balance and fall prevention, cardio. It's will be a wide range, kind of like we do now. There will be 2 classrooms for educational programming, which Life Lane, our current senior center, has that as well. We'll have 1 equipped fitness center, so it'll be the workout room with fitness equipment, treadmills, and other equipment. Again, it's being designed with people of different ability levels in mind, so it'll have specialized equipment to allow access to the equipment. We'll have a fitness attendant in the room at all times, and the spacing will be set up in a way so that mobility devices can get through and get access to all the equipment. A lot of the equipment that we use is really easily accessible to people of different ability levels, and that's intentional. Some of our most popular machines are new steps, and the seats are designed to move in several ways and swivel around so that even if someone in a wheelchair can easily access that machine. We'll have one library. We'll have 1 recreational room. So we're calling it a recreational room. We're trying to avoid calling it a gym, but if you look at it, it kind of looks like a gym. So there will be a basketball court with lines for volleyball and pickleball, and there will be basketball goals. And we can use it for all of those activities, but we'll be able to separate the room into 3 sections, so we could have 3 different program areas going on at once in that space. So that'll be a really, excuse me, let me get a drink. That'll be a really big improvement for what we have now, because we have a multi-purpose room in Life Lane, but it can really only be used for 1 program at a time. But since we're going to have 2 different program areas operating in this facility, we kind of need more programming space, and so that's why that design was put in place. It will have passive areas such as a cafe, seating areas, card playing areas, and decks and patios for outdoor seating as well. Since we are going to be in Shillito Park, we'll have access to a trail that will go right by the front of the facility, so people will be able to use the trail to explore the park and expand out. There were 20 pickleball courts that were just installed in Shillito Park, and so we're not going to be too far from that, and we won't be too far from the outdoor aquatic center, so we'll be able to use that space as well in the summertime for programming. And last but not least, for that space, we will have an art studio. Excuse me. So at Life Lane at the Senior Center, we have 1 art studio and we have 1 pottery studio with kilns. We will not have pottery at the new facility, but we will have an art studio for drawing and other arts and mediums. It will be open to seniors, and again, we define seniors as Fayette County residents 60 and older, or their spouses. So you could be younger than 60, but if your spouse is 60 or above, you can join the current senior centers. And the TR participants will be there of various ages, so they'll kind of set their own guidelines for that. But there will be, at times throughout the year, there will be children in the facility as part of the TR program. It'll be fully staffed at all times, so we'll have staff dedicated to senior programs and staff dedicated to the therapeutic recreation programs. All in all, I think we'll have probably about a dozen staff on a daily basis in the facility. It provides inclusive and more accessible environment for programming. As I mentioned, it provides a permanent home for TR, and all program space will be built with the universal design principles. Furnishings will be suitable to all populations, and the goal is to make it as inclusive as possible. So we do have built into the plans wayfinding infrastructure for wayfinding systems in the future. They won't be at doors open, that won't be included, but we do have that infrastructure built in. Special consideration for things like colors and the patterns that we're using on the floors, and different colors that are used to have specific contrast for signage. And the anticipated completion date is the summer of 2026. So the initial completion was planned for May of 26. Because of some of the weather when they first got started, it's already gotten pushed back, a month and a half or so from the initial start date. So we're planning for late summer 2026 for opening the doors and opening the facility. And from there, we'll have 5 facilities for senior programming and the 1 for TR. And we know that with our population, with an aging population, that we'll probably need to be considering an additional facility not too far down the road, because we know by 2040 we'll have more people age 60 or older in Fayette County than we currently have, and we're kind of already busting at the seams at times. So one new facility isn't going to fix that problem, but it's definitely going to be a great addition. It'll be more centralized for a lot of people. Any questions over that? I'm here. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Why is it? I mean, what's wrong with calling it a gym?
Oh, there's nothing wrong with calling it a gym. We've
You
just,
acted like it was something like it was
we
taboo
just
or
shied
something.
away from calling it a gym, because I think once you label it a gym, there's certain expectations. People are going to think that it's, open gym time all the time or something. So they just, for some reason, the designers have said let's call it the recreation room, because it may be that you see a basketball court, but half the wall is closed, and so we couldn't have basketball going on that day. So that was more of just an inside joke from us, but yeah.
Okay, I was just curious about that.
But it won't have like stands or seating or anything like that on the sides like a big gym.
Right.
I'm interested to know how you organize the TR activities. Do you organize by disability? So would our group, have specific activities designed for sight impaired?
So I've not worked I've worked with the group, but I've never managed that program, and I'm not a TR professional, so I can't answer that as eloquently as Jill Farmer could, who manages that program. But all of their programs are designed to try to accommodate, and they're very in touch with the people they're serving. So when they do registration, they do very few just pop-up programs where you just show up. When they do registration for their programs, they're going to talk to the participant to try and learn, what accommodation they may need for that specific program. So any of their programming is going to be open to anyone. They're going to find a way to accommodate you. That's really the goal, is whether it's visual impairment, physical impairment, mental impairment, whatever that may be for that individual, they're going to find a way to make sure that person has an opportunity to engage with the program.
Then based on the activity, they would kind of direct people
Correct.
to, this is probably not appropriate for you,
Correct.
but no.
And the way that they try to staff things is if, they have like young adults, they have a core group of young adults that may participate, and they kind of know, all right, this person might need a one-on-one assistance with this specific program, and so if someone new is coming in that hasn't participated before, they would probably try to make sure to have additional staff or volunteers, because they do a horsemanship program at Masterson Station through our equestrian program at Parks and Rec, and they use a pretty good number of volunteers for that program to help lead horses, and so they communicate very heavily with the participants leading up to it, just to try to learn more about what that participant may need from the program and how they can better serve. You're welcome. Yes, ma'am. I can't see your name tag. I'm sorry. Yes.
My name is Janet.
Janice. Yes, ma'am.
Will the nutritional program be provided at that location as well as the commodity program?
Right.
Will that be part of?
So I didn't even mention the commodities program, so thank you for bringing that up. The commodities program is a service that we provide at Life Lane at the Senior Center. They're out doing deliveries right now. So that is once a month they put together packages of shelf-stable dry foods, canned foods, and they take those out. You can sign up for that program with our social workers. The commodities program will stay at Life Lane. It'll be based out of there. And we'll definitely promote it. I know that we won't have social workers on staff at the Senior and Therapeutic Recreation Center. They'll stay at Life Lane. So the way we're kind of viewing it is Life Lane is going to be like our main senior center, and all of our other ones are satellite centers. And that will include the new Senior and TR Center that we're considering in a satellite program. So we'll have more services at Life Lane, more a broader range of services, but the staff that's based at Life Lane will still go out and support the satellites. So we may have social workers that go to the Senior and Therapeutic Recreation Center for specific events or at specific times to meet with people, but the commodities program will stay at Life Lane and be based out of there. We'll definitely promote it to those participants at the Senior and Therapeutic Recreation Center so that they're aware of the service. The nutrition program will not be moving over there. So part of the design, they didn't design a a space for it. There won't be the kitchen like we have at the senior center. So we have an industrial kitchen there. The group that manages the nutrition program is an outside group. They get access to the kitchen daily, so they bring their own staff and their own set of volunteers in to manage that program, and it was designed with that intention. So the new center won't have that part of it, but we can definitely, we'll definitely be supporting and promoting those programs at the new center. They may be able to do some mobile drop-offs for lunches, but there's been no big discussions of that yet because we want to keep that focus at the main Lexington Senior Center.
Was this,
Would the, are you considering maybe having the mobile market come out there once a month?
You know, that's a really good question. I think that would be a great addition to have that come out, because right now we don't have it come out to the senior center at Life Lane, and I think that that's a really good idea, and then we would probably have a lot of people interested in that. I'll take that down as a note, actually.
You're a trendsetter, Charles.
Huh?
You're a trendsetter.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, okay.
I have another question.
Yes, Ms. James.
When I have gone to the Richmond Road location, the first thing that was told to me when I came in the door, they asked me, was I with somebody? I'm totally blind.
Right.
I usually travel independently, so I never have anybody with
Right.
me. And I have found, I'm pretty good with my cane,
Yeah.
with my cane skills, and I can't see a lick, but once I'm shown around
Of course.
somewhere, I can usually find my way back and forth. But I have found at the Senior Citizen Center that they're very unaccommodating.
Okay.
It's not easy to maneuver around the building,
Right.
you don't, when you go through the door, you don't know where anything is. You have to walk all the way across the room to the desk to register.
Yeah.
If somebody behind the desk has time to show you around, they will, but it's really quick, fast, and in a hurry, because they can't be away from the desk. There's no dedicated person that can assist anybody with blindness or low vision disability. And I have found that, it's the norm at even the satellite locations. You have to be self-sufficient because there's nobody dedicated to helping you and assisting you.
Yeah.
Will
I have a
that,
similar
will that
question.
be the case at the Therapeutic Recreation Center also?
We will have more staff on site at that location. That's a good point. That's a good question.
I was gonna ask the same thing.
I'm sorry to hear that you had a bad experience, but I could definitely see how coming into the center, when you walk in the doors, it's pretty wide open. And so it could be very difficult to navigate if you're using a cane to try to navigate your way around. We do have, Mr. Porter. I heard somebody mention Mr. Porter that comes here. He's there pretty regularly, so we do have participants that come there that are totally blind or heavily visually impaired. And so hopefully if you come back in that you can have a better experience. But our front desk staff and our social workers, they are available. Now, the social workers can't have meetings with people, so they might not necessarily be available. And there definitely are times where we're short-staffed. But there should be someone at all times there that can provide a tour of the facility, and especially if you're trying to figure out where specific rooms are so that you can navigate that yourself in the future, then there should be someone that's available, even if they have to call staff that's on the second floor. Like I'm located on the second floor, and so I have staff up there, so there should be someone at all times that's available, unless we are just heavily short-staffed for some reason. But even then, to help you navigate through the facility, there should be someone that we can find that would be available. As far as would there be someone dedicated to that at Life Lane, or at the new center, I'm sorry, we will have the staff from Therapeutic Recreation that will be there. They're adding 2 new positions. So they currently only have 2 full-time employees dedicated to that program. They're adding 2 new employees that'll be based out of that center. So they'll have 4 full-time employees based out of that location, as well as part-time staff. And then the senior side will have, I think, 7 employees total, but that includes front desk and custodial staff. And we'll also have some part-time staff dedicated to the group, the fitness center.
Will they have knowledge of assisting the blind and low vision?
That's a really good question. So I can't say 100% that everybody there will, but the senior or the therapeutic recreation staff should be better equipped to handle that situation, is how I'm going to phrase that for
Linda
now.
had a question.
Yes,
Yeah,
Ms.
well, I will say that I have done several activities with Parks and Recreation throughout my life, since I've been in Lexington. And I was always helped as far as anything I needed with them. And I know Evelyn, I don't know, I wonder how Evelyn Bolognius is. I haven't talked to her in so long.
Yeah.
And, but I also had another question. This may sound like an absolutely terrible question. But I really wish that we could have transportation set up to go directly to the center. And because I just find it daunting. Like, I would like to go to the one that there is now, but I don't know if my husband really wants to, so I have to go by myself. And they made it real clear to me, you have to know where you're going when you go there. They made it real clear. And, but with this new one, maybe even a small radius of people who live right around there, if they could have a bus that comes maybe a couple different times a day to do, like a bus for the morning people who want to be there and a bus for the afternoon people who want to be there. Something like that, just to make it easier for people. I don't know.
Taking notes.
Maybe an age criteria, like after 75, maybe then you can get a door-to-door.
There you go.
Yeah, I know that prior to me working at the senior center, they used to have a transportation program, and so they did have routes where they would go and they would pick people up and bring them to the center
That
daily.
would be so nice, and especially people close, really in the close proximity.
Yeah, I think that program in particular, the transportation, was a program that logistically was really hard because it's a pretty small staff that we have.
Yeah.
And so it was logistically hard, and I think it just kind of was one of those things that during COVID it went away, and when they were trying to come back online, they didn't have the staffing resources to support it, and then it's just not come back at this point. Not for sure the reason behind that. Yes, Ms. Susan.
One thing that occurs to me, like we're talking about the independence of going there and not having a way to, not having to be shown around. I would just think one way to take care of that possibly would be to make a phone call in advance and schedule a time when someone, if there was somebody that would be, that could take care of that, and meet with that person and take them around at their pace and show them around. That might solve some of that uncertainty when you go to an unfamiliar place.
Well, and that's part of the new network, because at the Senior Citizens Center.
We can't hear the
Yeah,
question.
we can't hear, can you line or something?
What I said, or repeat what I said?
So what Susan had said was that a possibility would be for us to provide the opportunity for people to call and schedule a time to come to the Lexington Senior Center to be shown around. Because we're glad to show people around as long as the staff is available, but like she said, if you show up and the staff isn't available at that moment, then they may not be able to pull away to show everybody around. But we're usually, if we're available, we're always happy to show people around. But the idea of scheduling that time is a really good idea. I like that, because we can definitely find time to schedule that out to support people that need it. more time or more access to the space, for sure.
Which also, I think Teresa came out there, and the equipment, the exercise equipment, I think she worked with those people to kind of get that, you know, where
Right.
people could use that. But also we do like sensitivity training where, she comes and she teaches you how to work with people with visual impairments, like if they have a blind, if they
Yeah.
have a cane or whatever.
Right.
You know, this is what you do and this is what you do for this, that, or whatever. So it might not hurt to have another class of
No,
training.
Well, that's what I was saying, as far as being self-sufficient. Evelyn approached, well, I don't mean to call out any names, but the first thing that was said to me, are you with somebody, or are you self-sufficient? And, you know, that's true.
Yeah.
I believe that's true. You know, when you first walk into a place, I haven't been that since, because of that attitude that I got from the staff. Like I said, she showed me where the bathrooms was and showed me where the elevator was. Took me around the second floor and boom, that was it.
Yeah.
I learned the steps by myself. I know where they are because I was fell down them. And I was like, oh, there's steps here, and I'd rather take the steps up and down than the elevators because the elevators get crowded sometimes. So
Yeah.
with my cane, swinging my cane back and forth, I find that I can maneuver the steps better than being crowded into the elevator, even if it's one floor. But, you know, as far as like what she said, I think it was Susan down there, or Judy at the end, sensitivity training, that's what I find that, the staff doesn't have in regards to our vision problem.
Yeah. No, I think that would be a great opportunity for all of our staff. Even the staff that may not necessarily be the ones that would be the first line of, you know, to go out and assist someone. I think it would be beneficial to all of us because with our focus on specialized populations, with specific populations, we need to be more sensitive to those needs and more available to assisting those needs. We actually have an in-service training for all of our staff coming up in July, so maybe I can put a bug Susan and Teresa's ear to see if that could potentially be an opportunity. Because I think everything you're saying is absolutely 100% correct, that it's an area where we are probably lacking because I'll say we because I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus, I'm right there with them. You know, we have a core group of people that we probably serve. Out of the 300 that come every day, we probably have about 180 to 200 that are some of the same folks usually. And so they may just get in a routine and may not be as flexible as they should be or as understanding as they could be given the situation. So I definitely will take that feedback to Christy and see if maybe there's an opportunity for us to potentially get something included in our in-service training in July for all of our staff, because that'll also include our satellite center staff, and so they would be there as well.
Well, and especially even though they may not be in a class teaching people with disabilities.
Right.
If they're just walking down the hallway.
Right.
And someone needs help.
Yeah.
You know, or they, you know, see someone with a visual impairment.
Yeah.
You know, they need to know how to offer help in
Yeah.
case it's needed.
I mean, I'll tell you, we had that situation just this week. We had a gentleman in our group fitness, or in our fitness center. He was just going to work out, so he's been in before, so he's familiar with the equipment. He just needed somebody to kind of help him get situated in the equipment. It was the first, I've been there a little over a year. It was the first time that I had that situation come up. I know we have a couple of other folks that are visually impaired that use the equipment, but they had been coming prior to me working there, so they kind of already gone through that learning curve, learning where the equipment was and how to position themselves in it. So that was a new experience for me, helping that gentleman get situated on one of the recumbent bikes, and then helping them get onto the treadmill. And it definitely made me see, all right, there's a gap there in my skill set that I didn't know. Am I assisting too much? Am I not assisting enough? Where is that line? And I guess that could be different for everybody, but I think that would be potentially where the sensitivity training may support me the most.
Well, if she got training, I got left standing at the door.
I hate to hear that. I'm very sorry about that.
That's one reason why I haven't been
The
back.
instructor looked up and said, are you gonna join the group? And I'm like, well, you know, where can I go? I don't wanna step on anybody.
Right.
And I basically was left standing there while they went on with their breathing exercises, you know.
So was that for like a yoga class or something?
Yeah.
Or a fitness class? Okay. Well, that's definitely an area where we need to improve, for sure.
Yeah, Stephen, we've started a new series of workshops here, also on the same kind of thing that you're talking about, called communication and relationship building, and it is open to people who are blind, visually impaired, their caregivers, their family members, their friends, and professionals.
Okay.
And that's quarterly, and we had one in April, or May, it was in May, it's quarterly. And that was on sighted guide technique, which we have a short version of that as well that Teresa could offer, I'm sure, to that group in July that meets. But we will be doing something again in August here, and we want to be sure to invite anybody from your program to that. This will be on experience stations where those who are sighted get to wear goggles or blindfolds and learn what it is like to be vision impaired with everyday tasks, some different tasks, and it will be fun and educational and a way to increase, you know, the understanding and empathy, and also for those who are sighted, those who are blind or visually impaired, to learn how to express themselves too and ask for the help that they're needed. So it's a two-way street, really. So anyway, we're just letting you know about those.
And what that was called, communication and what? I'm sorry.
Yeah, communication and relationship building series, workshops.
Yeah, even if you had maybe 3 or 4 members from the staff attend the one session,
Absolutely.
they could learn a lot.
Yeah.
They'll all be a little differently. Each quarter we're gonna be something different, so. But
How long do they last?
it's an hour and a half.
Yes, Ms. Ada.
Did you mention that the senior citizen help you get a job? Did you say that?
Yeah. So our social worker staff, if you didn't hear, she asked if I had mentioned that we can support you in helping to fill out applications or doing job searches. So the social workers that are on staff there, you can set up an appointment with one of them. It would probably be Justin, who you would see, and if you had a job in mind that you wanted to apply for and needed help with the application, or if you just needed help looking for open positions and then applying, that's what he's there for, and he would be more than happy to help with that. Any other questions?
Well, my question is not really related to
Yes, ma'am.
it's related to the job thing. A long time ago, it must have been around 2010, there was a program here in Lexington, and I cannot think of the name of it, but it I guess people worked with it who wanted to help people who needed a job to get it. It's kind of like, now, there was I know somebody in Ohio who who used this program, and it was called Experience Works, and he was visually impaired, and they found a job for him volunteering to play the piano at he was getting paid to do it for 3 or 4 hours a day at a senior citizen center.
Okay.
I mean, do they still have that program? I just cannot think of the name of it.
I'm not.
But I know it helped me out at the time.
The Access Lexington Commission promotes positions and organizations that hire people with different disabilities, so that may be part of what it was.
So if somebody came to that organization and told them what their skills were, then maybe that organization would help?
They might. I can't speak to how involved they would be, but I know that they try to connect people with the organizations, but I don't know if they would necessarily be very hands-on with getting you, beyond getting you a contact or something. I don't know how hands-on they would be after that, because it's kind of a volunteer commission, so I don't know if they have staff dedicated to really supporting people at that level.
Yeah.
But if, hypothetically, if you did find a position through there that you were interested in, then yeah, that's where our social workers can kind of step in and help potentially with applications or more information.
Do you have a business card or anything?
I do. Yep,
Is
I
that
can
like
leave.
your card?
I have business cards that I can leave.
Great, yeah.
Anybody else have any other questions?
Yes, ma'am. I can absolutely leave.
Well, I think Stephen can stick around for another 5 or 10 minutes or so if you have individual questions to ask, but I think I learned a lot today. I hope everyone else did too, about what really is offered out there, all the different programming, and gave us a chance to give some feedback as well, which is, I think, was a very beneficial meeting today. So I think we owe him a round of applause for coming out here.
Thank you for having me. I do appreciate that feedback. Those are excellent points and definitely areas where we have to improve. So thank you very much. I do have some cards, so I will leave them.
Perfect. And you get a pen for your coming out here.
Oh,
today
excellent.
for
Thank
ours,
you.
So there you go.
I'm not looking for work.